So welcome everybody. Today I will try to do my best. I'm going to show you and to try to explain you how Tecnativa, my company, works with the OCA, because 100% of our work is in the OCA. My first moment for the presentation is to remember Eric Caudal. For me, Odoo experience and OCA experience is very important to remember. Such a big contributor that we lost last year. So I wanted to remember him. He was a brilliant contributor for the OCA and to the Odoo. So my next slide is what can we do to guide our Odoo projects to success. For me, the success of an Odoo implementation, and maybe in general an ERP or CRM implementation project, is in the first moment we talk with an opportunity, with a client. In this first call or the first email that they touch us and say, I would like to start with a new ERP or to move to a new one. So from the first commercial talk, it's very important to guide him, because this talk serves to explain how are you going to guide him or her, and to show your fortals or your weakness on the software. And very important that I learned 8 years ago is honesty, sincerity. This is very important because for integrators, for providers, and for customer clients, this is really the most important. Trying to sell the software, trying to sell the service without a value will go to have discussions, problems, and maybe the project fails. So this is the first point. Obviously, we have to try to advise the clients selflessly. This means that I'm going to dedicate you maybe 15, 30, or 1 hour time to try to guide you in the Odoo world, because we are this first point of view for the client. So we have to inform about Odoo, obviously. So usually in the first call, I show Odoo, and I really like to show real information on time, online. I don't want to have usually slides. So I show the software from the Odoo webpage, all the apps Odoo have, and I try to explain in the needs of the client which apps they will use. This is very important to offer. Obviously, we have to inform also the pricing, the Odoo pricing. This is important because they have to decide if they're going to use Odoo or not in the first point. The second point will be maybe I'm going to work with this partner or this other partner, but they have to choose the software. And the pricing is very important to decide which software is going to use. This is the point of view of myself. We do not support the Odoo App Store. We only support the OCA App Store. And this is because a matter of evolves. Odoo SA evolves very fast. They improve Odoo software every year a lot. Imagine Odoo has more than 1,000 employees. So we have detected with the years that as much modules from the App Store that the customer or the client has, more complicated becomes an upgrade from one version to another one, for example, from 12 to 13 or 13, 14. So a lot of modules in the App Stores cost a very little amount, but put in your Odoo installation a lot of lines of code. I have a good example of one module in the App Store that cost 200 euros and put it in your installation 21,000 lines of code. So for us, this is not an option, and we don't use the App Store. We use the OCA App Store that I will explain in the next slide. Well, also we have to inform about the company, because customers need to know something, what is behind you, because maybe Tecnativa is a little company, but who is the big company who is behind you, no? The magnitude. And I usually show the official Odoo webpage, because this is something that Odoo should update and all the time. They show you here how they are in a lot of office on our world. They have a lot of employees. They work with a lot of partners in different countries, and there are a lot of millions of users with the software. So this is also important to that the client take care of. Another big point for Odoo is the documentation. Not a lot of ERP software has an online and free such a documentation about everything, not only functional, also technically for a developer, the APA, how to install white papers, and so on. So this is a very important thing to inform. A new thing for the last year, and very nice thing for Odoo, is the e-learning. The e-learning, Odoo has a platform that for free you can learn all the application with short videos. So this is important that the customer knows. And finally, Odoo provides for free and Odoo everywhere, every time with Rambot, like the OCA. So sometimes these kind of screens make afraid to the client, because hey, what are you showing me? This is very complicated. I'm not a technical one. But when you are with a client and you are showing your screen, you can explain it very easy, like how to run an Odoo from the office and with their team test it. Now we will go to the next time. What is OCA? And what OCA help you to success your Odoo projects? OCA is a community with a unique value proposition, with a lot of years of experience, a lot of contributor, more than 1,000, and a lot of companies around the world using same functionalities, with high level of quality in the developments, in the documentation, and in the technically talking. So OCA is a unique value proposition and is quality. I will show you some tips of organization. For example, with the OCA, you will have, as a client and also as a Odoo provider, an organization about what we have done by other Odoo companies, so I don't have to do again, with quality and with documentation. We have here a very nice page when we can have all the functionality grouped by typology, about documents, about e-commerce, about field service, and so on. A lot of scope. Also, we have vertical interest teams for maybe more sectoral Odoo projects. And we have our localization teams for all the localizations around the world. So this is a great value from the OCA that not other software have. And all of this work is open source, and you can discuss openly. We have also connectors and so on. So this is something really special that the client give a big value, and also for the Odoo providers, that they can learn from other people. Okay. Right. Another thing I want to show you is the App Store. The App Store that we support. In the OCA App Store, you have more than 3,000 modules of Odoo that have a nice README, have test, have a place to test it, has reviews, and has the knowledge from other professionals in Odoo. And it's really easy to test a single functionality. For example, I have taken here an example with a model that is product secondary unit. So if you try to find a functionality in the Odoo or OCA App Store, you are not only having something that you have to download to install in your installation and test it. This is complicated and is very slow. With the OCA, you can test it really, really easy, because when you are in the module page, you will have a really nice README with some information like which is the general purpose of the module, how to use it, what happens if you find a bug, and some other information important to realize that this is not only done by one single person or one single company. This is something about a community. And you have here a button that say, try me, where you can go inside in one click. You will get an Odoo to test it. Really easy. In just 1 second, you can test this functionality. You can log it here with admin, login, and then with the README and the Rambot from the OCA, you can see the functionality really easy. And as a customer, as a client, show it if it fits your needs, or as a Odoo provider, you can show to your customer. So now for this module, if I come here to a product, I can show to the customer, well, this model, we have to to explain why the model. No, usually in Odoo we work with a unit of measure that maybe is kilograms, but with this model, maybe you need to have a secondary unit like a piece, no, a piece that is only one unit, and usually 1 unit of this product is 7.5 kilograms. So imagine in 1 minute, in 5 minutes, you are explaining to your client the functionality. This is a really big value from the OCA. Okay, another important, really important thing is experience. So when you are working in the OCA, who are there? There are contributors. I am taking here one example, but as I said, we are more than 1,000 contributors. And we are not talking about contributors only from 1 year old. We are talking about contributor that has been working since 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So really old and experienced contributors. These kind of contributors will maybe review your modules, ensure that the modules in the OCA works, and so on. So this is a lot of experience together. Also about experience, I'm going to show you 4 examples. In the OCA ecosystem, you can have opinion. Like in this issue, one contributor wants to improve something in Odoo. So I explain this kind of situation for clients, because when the client understands this ecosystem, they feel the value. They feel that they are not alone, and a lot of knowledge is around. Here, they are explaining one improvement, and we have feedback from other contributors. So this is the knowledge not only from one company and one person or so on. There are more people involved. Okay, we have here a third one. Now, after the opinion, we have here an explanation, and after this, we go, as you can see here, the module. I mean, the development of this functionality. Another thing I will show you, and I showed to our clients is, for example, this advice. I mean, someone asks for something. Hey, I want to make improvement also and enhancement. So what's your opinion about this? And you will have opinions for other experienced contributors. This is a really big value. Maybe you can get support if you are using OCA modules, OCA functionalities. Maybe you have an error, you have a problem, and you can write here, hey, excuse me, I have a problem. So who can help me, or which is the problem? So as you can see, one contributor say, we will review this, and after another one say, okay, we found it, so we are going to solve it, and here you have the solution. Sometimes you don't got such a quick answer, but when the problem is shared, because the same model is used by hundreds of companies, usually the bugs or the error are fixed sooner, because more company use, more probability to find it. So you have support, and also you have obviously reviews for from other contributor when you propose a new functionality. I take this example because it's a really big example of contribution and very long. For example, here someone tried to propose a new module, and this model was quite complicated. So as you can see here, we have involved a lot of contributors from different companies. As a client point of view, you have to understand that you are trusting in a provider, Odoo provider, that will have to talk with other contributor, other Odoo professional to get a solution. So this improves a lot of the quality and the stability of your Odoo installation. I'm going to show you, because it's really long, it's really interesting, how with the months, with the days, a complicated functionality is reviewed by a company, is technically and functionally. So both ways, no? And they are discussing and trying to get the best approach for the customer in a general point of view. So this is a really great value. Here we have, this is the fifth contributor that begin to interact. So I show you this to clients because I can prove to my client when I show you that what I'm saying is truth. So I am honest. I'm not trying to sell anything. I am showing something that is the truth, no? The truth. And finally, after all of this discussion, finally, the model is done in another repository, but is done with a very, really high quality. And this happens with a lot of modules in the OCA from all the contributors. So what OCA makes for you, and who is you? You could be an Odoo provider, an Odoo partner, or also could be a client. So OCA make really big things for both. For example, as a Odoo provider, like for example us, Tecnativa, we have employees. Maybe our employees have experience, a lot of experience, maybe not. Maybe they begin to work in Odoo now. So how they learn? Of course, we can teach them. But if we say that you have to work in the OCA, OCA is providing just to the Odoo providers a really, really nice guidelines how to work with Odoo. This is a really extended documentation that is priceless about introduction, about how to do modules, how version works, migration, how to do the XML files, how to do the code, the Python, JavaScript, and a lot of information, very, very well documented. So when a Odoo provider see this, say, oh, this is really incredible. I will put my employees working in the OCA, and they will do a great job. And for clients, it's the same way. It's like, hey, I'm seeing that here there are standards, there are rules, so I can trust more in my installation. So OCA make for Odoo providers professionalize and train your employees. They will be better every pull request, every review they do, or just looking for modules that already exist, they will professionalize. In the OCA, it's obligatory the peer review. So everything you do in the OCA, another contributor has to review it, at minimum one, okay? Maybe two or three, depends also with some rules. So this ensure the quality and the functionality. Also, OCA provide developing tools that a lot of companies cannot afford to put it, or they don't know how to do it, like a continuous integration with Travis, a translate platform like with Weblate. Imagine your client is working with different languages. So how are you going to translate all your developments or your functionality? So OCA provides you a platform. Odoo, OCA force you to don't repeat yourself, because if you look what your client needs in the OCA and you find it, you will use it and you will not develop the same things. Really important. And with all this explanation I did, I can assure you that your client will trust you more. As a client, in the other point of view, you can feel that your provider use a standard. So they say, okay, we have a quality standard with if my provider use the OCA methodology. Your Odoo is not a black box. A lot of Odoo installation has a lot of custom code that only one company did it. So it's a black box. But if your Odoo installation is using OCA modules, this is open source. So any other integrator can check the code, can audit. So this is really important for the client. Also, independence of provider. If a client want to change of provider, they should feel free to change. And usually when we have a black box, the customer, the client feels like, I cannot change it, because another one will say that we have to do everything again. And this will cost a lot of money. But using OCA, this will not happen, because the other provider will say, okay, you're quoting the OCA, so high quality, all is open source, we can check and audit everything, so we can take your installation. It's very important for client feel independence, no change with the provider. Also, your company will evolve with Odoo. Odoo SA as a software evolves a lot. And with the OCA also, because in the OCA, the modules that we did in version 6 goes to 7, to 8, to 10, to 11, to 12, to 13, and now we'll go to 14. So you will have the possibility to upgrade. That this is very important. As I explained it, you can test before installing. You can go to a runbot of a module and test it and show how it works. Okay. As a client, you will get the knowledge of other companies, because, for example, when the first of our customers say, we have a need, we need a secondary unit module, we discuss with another Odoo providers. And after we get it, how we will solve the problem for the customer, we did it. After this was done, another customer were interested. So they are getting the knowledge of for other companies. And obviously, you have the functionality done, is fast and controlled delivery, because you don't have to wait 2 weeks or 1 month to get it developed and functionally. It's just maybe next day. So OCA makes a lot of things also for providers and for clients. And the last point I'm going to explain is how we inform about us. As I said, we have to be honest. So we explain what is our scope, what is our team, which experience they have. I put here some links to the team in GitHub. So they can see here the team, also the experience. Obviously, they can see here how many functionalities, pull requests, and so on we did. And this is our way, but you as a Odoo provider or as a client, you have to know the experience, because sometimes in the ERP, if you don't know a functionality, it's complicated to get success. So you have to learn it better. In our case, obviously, we support and maintain all the OCA. And this means that we trust in all the contributors. So we support 3,428 apps that are in the OCA. This is a lot of functionalities. You have to inform what you do and what you don't do. For example, we only support Odoo or OCA modules. If a client wants to work with modules outside this scope, we don't do it. So we say it. If you have other modules, you have to pay audit and a quality control. And also, for example, we don't integrate Odoo with external e-commerce. So we say it, because then the customer, the client can say, hey, okay, so sorry, I don't want to work with you because we want to connect our external e-commerce. Also, we inform about how we work, because we work 100% online. We don't have presence. We only work from a long-term relation, for example, only in the long term. If someone wants a single development, we don't give this kind of service. And we study our project approach. Like, it's a new Odoo installation, it's ongoing installation that we have to take it. It's a migration from an old version to a new version, or it's a failed installation that we have to recover. So usually we work with an agile audit. That means trying to study in short term the problems, and client's responsibility. That means that for a ERP success projects, the customer have to take these responsibilities. So this is all. I think I'm on time. I want to thanks for your attention to everyone. And I want to thanks really the OCA, because they have helped us for these last 8 years with all the infrastructure and all the contributors. So thank you very, very, very much.
Well, thank you, Rafael. That was a fantastic talk. So we'll open the floor to questions now. We've got about 6 minutes, so you can just raise your hand, or you can ask the question in chat, and I'll redirect those to Rafael, or I can unmute you and do that. I guess from my perspective, I mean, you guys have been involved with the OCA really since its inception, and I kind of noted with interest in your talk, Rafael, that you used the OCA website as part of your presentation to clients. Is there anything that you think that the OCA could do to improve their website to help you when you talk with clients?
I think so, because the design, the usability, and some information of the OCA is we haven't invested. In the OCA, we haven't invested in design and user experience. The information is really complete, so the customer and the clients get all the information, but sometimes it's difficult to get all this information without our guide, because how the structure. So I think we can work on this, because sometimes the customers go to the OCA webpage without a provider, so alone. And maybe they could feel lost, or maybe they miss some information. I think it could be improved.
So I guess what I'm taking for that is we need to be aware that our target audiences aren't just our members and integrators.
Something new for the OCA is the OCA App Store. And for example, we have to take care in some keys in the modules, in the manifest, to get better filters. Better filters, for example, for finding functionalities, because sometimes our clients try to find a functionality in the App Store of OCA, and they don't find it, but it's there. I saw my client, but the client alone didn't find it. So some things can be improved. Obviously, always everyone can improve. I can improve also every day, but in general, it's really good information in the OCA webpage.
It's just finding it, yeah. Okay. All right. We'll talk about that other question a little bit later. We're getting lots of thanks on the chat for your talk. Everyone seems to have really enjoyed it. And of course, the OCA is always appreciative of Tecnitiva's contributions. Hold on, I've got a hand up here. Who have we got?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Anyone else got any other questions? You'll see Rafael, I'm sure, around over the days, or you can just talk to him on Discord as well.
I will be here by the Discord channel.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you for a wonderful talk, Rafael.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye.